Hi, my name is Sarah McCubbin, and I'm here from 10 Minute Momentum with my daughter, Julia. You say hi.
Hi.
And we're going to show you how to put together this Chinese New Year activity pack and Lapbook that we've created. And we're going to put it together today and show you some of the things that are in it. Our family has celebrated Chinese New Year for a really long time because I used to teach English for a company that had many Chinese students. And so we started celebrating Chinese New Year during that time and really loved it. So we love the food. We love to light fireworks. We love to set off Chinese lanterns and learn about the culture and just have a great time. So this Lapbook is to help us learn about that. Chinese New Year isn't until February, but we're going to put it together now. So to begin with, we're going to start with either a file folder that is refolded to look like this, or just a large piece of paper that is refolded. And I have folded it and then added red paper to the inside. Okay, so we have lots of activities. And the first one that we're going to do is the Chinese calendar booklet. And it has sheets of paper. I've cut out my pieces already to make this go quicker. It has sheets of paper in it like this. So these need to be folded on the dotted line. And this little booklet can then have the cover glued right on it. Now, I will tell you that this is created in a way that can be done with very little writing. And the reason that is that way is that my kids, I found that many of them did not enjoy writing a lot. So they enjoyed learning, they enjoyed the whole process, but they didn't necessarily enjoy all the writing. So I've created Lapbooks that kind of take that out. And if you have a kid that doesn't really like writing, it's totally fine. They can do this book without it. So I have put this book together, and once all the facts, which are included, once all those facts are glued inside the book, then the book can then be added inside the Lapbook. And we'll do that here in just a second. You can, I'm stapling my book right on that line to make it nice and easy, but you can staple it, or you could probably tape it a few different ways. So I've got my little book here. I haven't put all my facts in yet, but I will. And then we're going to move on to the next activity, which is all these Chinese New Year traditions, and they look like these circles. There's a whole page of circles. They also have these lined pages. So we're going to take these and we're going to staple them together like that. And then we're going to either write on those lined pages, or we're going to glue these pre-written words right inside. Okay, so I think she decided that she's done helping me. I've gone ahead and I've glued the little words right inside my booklet. So now I have all these traditions booklets, and I have my Chinese calendar booklet, and I'm going to glue these on the inside here. Let me glue this in here real quick, and leaving space for one or two other larger items that are coming. Generally, when I do these Lapbooks, most of the time just a glue stick works the best, because the really wet glues can take a long time to dry. So just, cheap glue sticks work well. And when I've printed this, I printed this just on like copy paper. I didn't print it on anything heavy, although you could. I did print a few pieces on something heavy. So now I've got both sides I've got filled up. And next, I'm going to put in here these Chinese phrases, which the Chinese phrases, there's actually an extra worksheet here think it's called activity number 3. There's all these phrases, and they're going to tell you what each Chinese phrase means. So I'm going to glue my wheel together. There's 2 pieces, a front and a back. I'm going to glue that together where it says put glue here. I'm just going to put glue right on that, not all over, just right there in the middle. Glue that together. And then under each phrase, we're going to find the English phrase that matches up. Okay, so it's a little bit of a matching. You're going to use this worksheet to help you figure out which English phrase matches up. And then you're going to take those phrases. I've got the one, Happy New Year here. You're going to take that and glue it under the correct Chinese phrase. Okay. Then this Chinese phrase wheel is going to go into the Lapbook. And you don't have to make your Lapbook using file folders. Honestly, you could use like a composition notebook. You could use a regular notebook. You could just staple some sheets of construction paper or cardstock together. Whatever you have handy is good enough. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing for it to be functional. What I've found with these Lapbooks is that my kids enjoy flipping through them, talking through them after they assemble them. Sometimes it's useful to teach it as you go, and sometimes it's a little bit better to put it all together and then teach through the different sections, different strokes for different folks, I guess. So now we've got the Chinese phrases in the book. Okay. And the next activity is when I was teaching, this was one of the kids' favorite traditions, the Chinese red envelopes. And our local Asian grocery store has these really beautiful foiled envelopes. I did print this one on like a heavier weight cardstock because I knew I was going to cut it out and fold the envelope. But if you live near an Asian grocery store, you could always pick up one of these. I, however, have just folded mine, right? I've printed on heavier paper though. And I'm going to glue this into the book. Now, this activity also comes with some play money. So your kids can put their own Chinese money in there and they can practice. There's another worksheet in here that helps them figure out how many yen it would cost to buy things like a pound of white rice in yen and in US dollars. You get to figure it out both ways. You get to figure out how much it costs to buy a gallon of milk or a dozen eggs. Of course, those prices now with inflation have probably gone up, but you can compare the price, what yen are to US dollars. So my Lapbook here is getting a little full. So at that point, when it starts to get a little full, you can either glue stuff on the back, you can add another page to it. I'm going to put a cover on mine, so I don't want to use the front flaps. I think I'm going to just stick these on this money envelope on the back. And I'm going to put the money, the play money, inside my envelope. Okay. So I'm just going to tuck those in there. Kids can have fun with that later. And we'll use that when we do the activity. How much does it cost to figure out how much money it takes? Now the next one is how to make a Chinese lantern. And I thought I had done this activity and printed it on red cardstock. I'm actually not going to put this one together at this second because it doesn't go in the Lapbook. And the only one I have printed is on white paper, but it's very simple to do. And this is what your finished product is going to look like. I highly recommend printing it on a heavier red cardstock. And when we've done this in the past, we go ahead and put like a little battery operated tea light inside. Now, when we celebrate Chinese New Year, we actually light sky lanterns. Here's one for, I don't know, I think I got this at our local fireworks store. I think our store was like buy one, get one. And so it ended up being around $3 or $4 for one of these. These are huge, really big, super fun. Just don't light them too close to your house or your car. Sometimes or your trees. We've had them get stuck in our trees before. Okay, so I've got pieces and parts inside, and I've glued this on the outside. Now, before I keep going, you have a couple of options for the covers. There are some fun coloring pages included here. There's 2 different coloring pages. So your kids can color one of those. I highly recommend coloring them before you put them in the book. Or you can use the cover for the Lapbook that was included. Okay, so either way, I'm going to go ahead and use the cover that was included because my kids haven't had a chance to color those pages yet. And when I add those pages to our book, I will probably have to add an extra page or something, or attach a way for them to keep them with the book. That's one thing I love about Lapbooks. They don't have to be put together the right way in order for it to work. So this sheet for the cover, I'm cutting it in half, and then I'm going to glue each half to the book, and then I'll have a nice cover on my Lapbook. And this is helpful later as well when you're trying to remember, like, what were we learning about, or if you need a portfolio at the end of the year, what did we learn about? This all included. Another fun thing with these Lapbooks is that you can then include pictures. Like, there's room here for me to put a picture. I can put pictures on the back. If I add extra pages for my kids' coloring pages, I can add pictures to those pages. All right, there's only a few more activities, but I want to show them to you because I think they're super fun. One is making a dragon mask or puppet. There's 2 different faces. So to make the puppet, I would suggest cutting out the eyes, and then we're going to glue this to just a large popsicle stick. All right, very easy. All right, during Chinese New Year, they'll do the dragon dance. So this is a way your kids can do a dragon dance. Very easy. I printed these on heavier weight cardstock too. Now, this one, I want to turn this one into a puppet. So I'm going to cut off this bottom section right here, cut off the mouth, and I'm going to reuse that on my paper bag. So I'm just going to glue this to a paper bag real quick. Then I'll add the mouth. Now, as I mentioned before, I have found that using these activity packs and Lapbooks goes a lot smoother with my kids when I do a lot of the cutting. Now, not everyone's going to agree with me that that's the right thing to do, but I know that they get frustrated if their cutting isn't perfect, or maybe I run out of attention or they run out of attention. So having a lot of the pieces ready to go makes the whole process so much easier. Okay, so I've glued this together, this paper bag. You can see now he's got a mouth, and my puppet totally works, right? And so that's another way you can use these pieces. And obviously, if you have multiple children, you can print these off multiple times. Your kids can make as many puppets as they want. They can draw on them. They can add glitter to them. They can do whatever they want with them. And other activities included in this pack are the ones with Chinese New Year animals. I don't know about your kids, but when we go to like a Chinese restaurant, my kids are always looking up their birthday and then what animal goes with their birthday. Well, in Chinese culture, they believe that those animals, the year that you were born in, that it signifies something. I wouldn't go so far, but just learning about their culture, it's kind of interesting. So on this activity, your kids can use the sheet that comes with it, And they can write down 3 characteristics that go with the tiger, 3 that go with the rabbit, 3 that go with the dragon. So if your child is a rat, in their culture, they believe that that means somebody is ambitious, charming, talkative, resourceful, private, frugal, and critical. So there's some like positive qualities and negative qualities, which is certainly interesting. And there's about 12 different years. So it's just an interesting talking point. And then the last thing that also goes with the animals is a Chinese animal crossword puzzle. Using the same sheet of facts, you can fill in the different animals that meet the qualities listed here. There is an answer key in case you need that. And the last sheet is just one with websites and books and videos, recipes on celebrating Chinese New Year. If you've never done this before, I highly recommend it. Our family definitely enjoys it. The fact that it falls in the middle of February, it's probably an added bonus. Well, sometimes it's the end of January, but it falls in the winter time. That's an added bonus because where we live, it gets kind of cold and yucky, and everyone's really ready for winter to be over. And this one is, I mean, there's obviously Valentine's in the middle of winter, but we really enjoy this one. And we've had many great conversations with people from China because they celebrate this holiday, and not a lot of Americans do. So I hope you've enjoyed this tour through this activity book and Lapbook, and I hope you get a chance to use it with your kids.